switch and router. So we'll be going deeper into what router and switches. We'll be going deeper into what they look like, how they operate, so that you can understand better what switch and router are all about. So now, I want you to take note that whenever I mention switch and router, know that I'm talking of Cisco switch and router, Cisco switches and routers, because Cisco, they are like the giant of tech, giant of networking. Let me say they are like the giant of networking. When it comes to networking, Cisco is one of the first companies to mention. Just the same way Microsoft is very popular when it comes to all these end users devices, all these Windows. Windows are all over. Microsoft Windows, Microsoft. So it's not that Microsoft is the only operating system that a system can use, but they have become so popular and they are mostly used by people, by company, and so on. So now the same way, Cisco are very popular. They are like a giant when it comes to networking. Okay, they are the biggest winner of the market. They are the one winning in the networking market. Okay, so whenever you hear me talk about switches and router, I will be making use of a Cisco switch and router. So let's quickly go and look at how a Cisco router look like. How a Cisco router look like. So let's use Cisco switch. Go to image. Can you see them? These are Cisco switch. This is how they look like. Okay, this is a 29. This is a model number 2960 switch. Okay, this one has around 24 ports or so. Okay, this is another switch. This one has a 48 ports. So this is how switches look like. This is how switches look like. Okay, so that is a Cisco switch. Let's see how Cisco router look like. They are almost similar. This is a router. If you remember, I told you that a router has fewer ports, just few ports, number of ports. Okay, they don't have as many ports as switches. Switches can have as high as 72 ports sometimes. There are switches of 72 ports, 64 ports. But router normally have just fewer ports. Maybe because of the purpose they are designed for, just to connect two different networks. Okay, so that is Cisco routers and switches. So that is how Cisco switches and router. That is how they look. That is how they look like. That is how they look like. So now, we have Cisco IOS. So now you will agree with me that for your system or for your Android phone to work, there is an iOS running on it. Do you agree with me? There is an iOS running on it. Okay, maybe it's an Android phone. You have an iOS running on it. Okay, you have an operating system. Let me say you have an operating system running on it. Okay, if you are using a system, there is an OS running on it. It can be Windows. It can be this MacBook iOS. Okay, maybe it is iPhone. You'll be making use of iOS. Okay, so the same way we have operating system. The same way we have operating system for phone and all of that. It's the same way these networking devices have their own operating system. They have their own operating systems too. The way you have Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10 for your laptop, for your desktop, that same way, all these Cisco switches and routers too, they have their own operating system that they use. Okay, they have their own operating system that they use. So that operating system is what is called Cisco IOS. Cisco IOS or iOS, Internetworking Operating System or Internetwork Operating System. Internetwork Operating System. That's the name of their. That is the name of their operating system. So they have their own operating system as well that they use, and they are usually or basically accessed through CLI. So what do I mean by CLI? CLI means command line interface. Command line interface. Everything that you are seeing me doing here, maybe you're also using a Windows machine, whereby you are just doing point and click. You just go to your desktop and click and click and click. Okay. Such user interaction with the system is called graphical user interface, because you are just doing point and click. So another way of accessing a system or accessing a device is through command line interface. So let me show you, for instance, command line interface of this device. Okay. If I don't want to be going to desktop, to desktop, to documents, all this document folder, my desktop, my document folder, and all of that in my Windows machine, if I understand Microsoft's operating system very well, I should be able to operate, to do the same thing from here, from this place called the command line interface. So you'll be using command. For instance, I want to check my IP address right now. If I want to check my IP address right now, I just type ipconfig. Okay. Through command line interface, I was able to know that is my IP address. That is my IP address. Okay. If I don't want to use command line interface, what I will do is to come to my network center here, network and sharing center. Then I will go to, this is how to check system IP address, or how to assign IP address to a system. So I will go to not connected. So I can check this right now. Just say property, right click and click property. So go to TCP IP, click property. Okay, because I'm using a dynamic IP address, that's why I can't find it here. But let me come here. Let me come here and say, and say property. Okay, can you see my IP address? Okay, can you see my IP address? It's the same IP address that I use my CLI to check. Okay, it's the same way that it's the same IP address I use my graphic user interface to check. So let me explain again what this GUI, graphic user interface, and CLI is all about. When I say graphic user interface, it means I'm using my mouse to just do point and click. Okay, to use my system. Point and click. To use my system. Maybe I come to my desktop, I just click, I open document, I open whatever information that I want to open. Okay, I come here, I go to, okay, I'm just doing point and click to make use of my system. Okay, so now, another way to access my system, to make use of my system, is through what I call CLI, Command Line Interface. Meaning I will be going to the CMD to be entering command. If I want to enter command, if I want to open a folder, maybe in my documents, a document folder, if I understand how to use a command very well in Microsoft operating system, Windows operating system, I should be able to do that from here. I just say file paths / documents, and when I click enter, it will take me to inside of a document folder. From there, I can do whatever I want to do. Okay, but this is for experts, people that understand Microsoft operating system very well, people that are really, really good at it. So for easy user access, that is why we have what is called command and graphical user interface. It is very easy. I can easily open my Firefox from here, just do this, just click and click and click, and I will do whatever I want to do. In the networking world, let me say in the networking world, most of the Cisco devices, most of the Cisco switches and router, they make use of command line interface. Command line interface. Okay, they make use of command line interface. Command line interface. That is why you have to master that command line interface very well. Okay, you will not be saying point and click, oh yeah, click, assign IP, click, disconnect interface. You will not be saying that. What you will always see is command line interface where you'll be entering command. Okay, by the time we start configuring switches and router, you see what I'm talking about. So take note of that we'll be making use of a command line interface to administer, to configure, to make changes to your switches and router. So let's go to introduction to packet tracer. So now, what is packet tracer? Let me come from this angle. You will agree with me that before Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, or any player that you know, before they come to the field, before they come to the live match, the live field, they have a training ground where they normally train. They normally train how to play free kick, how to play penalty, how to dribble, and all of that. Okay, it is on that training field that they make whatever mistake that they want to make. They have that grace to make whatever mistake that they want to make, and they correct that mistake immediately. Okay, they make mistake, they make correction, they get perfect. They make mistake, they make correction, they get perfect. So the more they practice at the training ground, the more perfect they become. Okay, it is what they now practice that they will now go and show us on the live match, on the field. Okay, so now as a network engineer or network professional that is aspiring to become an expert as well, your training field is the packet tracer. So see packet tracer as your training field where you play with switch, where you play with router, where you play with laptop, where you play with network. You set up whatever network you want to set up. Okay, so now normally, let's say I want to set up a LAN and I need 5 switches. And I need 5 switches. And I need 5 switches. These switches that you are seeing, they are very costly, very expensive. Okay, let's say they are selling each of the switch that I will need 3 million naira, for instance. Okay, and I need 5 switches. That means I will be spending 15 million naira just to train, just to do training, just to train myself on how to set up a network, configure switch, configure router. Okay, I will be spending like 15 million naira to buy switch. Now, I want to buy router too. Let's say I need just 2 routers, and each of the router cost me 5 million naira. That means I will need 10 million naira to buy router, right? So now, that means I will be needing around 25 million just to train myself. To me, that's not efficient. That is not efficient. That is where we now come up, Cisco now come up with Packet Tracer, a lab environment, a training environment, where you can easily simulate, emulate how a router look like in the real life, okay, and play with it, train with it. The same iOS that a router is making use in real life, you will use it in the lab, in the training environment, and play with it. All you need is that software called Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer. So inside Packet Tracer, you'll be able to play with switches, with router, you'll be able to configure it, make mistake, and all of that. So that when you get to the live environment, you can replicate what you just practiced in the training environment. So I hope by now you have downloaded your Packet Tracer and you have installed it. If you have not done that, go and watch the video on how to download and install Packet Tracer. So this is my Packet Tracer here. This is my Packet Tracer here. So let me open the Packet Tracer. Then we go to the lab environment, okay, to this training ground that I'm talking about. So just double click it. Cisco Packet Tracer student. So this is your training feed. Make this your best friend. The more you practice, the more perfect you become. Let me enlarge it. The more perfect you become, because the same network that you will go and configure in real life, okay, it's the same network that you'll be setting up here to practice, to master how this thing works. So make it your best friend. Turn it to your training ground where you do exercise morning, afternoon, night, so that you can become better at networking. So this is the Packet Tracer. This is the Packet Tracer. If you need a router, for instance, the same physical router, this same physical router here, or physical switches, if you need any of those, all what you have to do is to come here. You see, you have router, click on it, it will give you a list of available router models. So let's pick any of the routers. I just pick this router. You just drag and you drop. Drag and drop. Okay? So the same router that you would have gone to buy for 15 million naira, for 5 million naira. It's the same router that you'll be practicing with here. Okay? Let's say you need switch. Click on switch on this left corner hand side. Left hand side corner. So click on switch. You can pick any model of the switch you want. Okay, this is a 2960 switch. If you want to delete, just pick this delete, come here, delete, then you drop the two back by clicking this. Okay, you come back. This is a switch. Okay, as many switch as you want. You can pick as many as you want. Imagine if I'm to buy this in real life, I'll be spending thousands amount of money. Okay, this 2960 switch, let's go and see how it look like in real life. Cisco 2960 switch. Can you see the switch? This is how the switch look like in real life. So this same switch is another 2960 switch. This same switch, this one is a 24 port, while this other one is a 48 port. So this one can accommodate more devices than this one. This one can take as many as 48 devices, while this one can only take as many as 24 devices. So now this same switches is what we have in this our training ground that you can play with, you can configure and do whatever you want to do, setting up a network. So let's go and boot up. Let's go and operate one of the router or one of the switch. So let me make this clear to you. The iOS that I talked about earlier, the Cisco IOS that I talked about earlier, which I call the operating system of these network devices, the operating system of the switch and the router, they are both, okay, the iOS for switch and the iOS for router, they are both configured using the same commands. Okay, the same command that you will use to operate a router is the same command that you will use to operate a switch. Okay, they are the same command. So if you have a command to make certain change on the router, that same command is what you will use on the switch as well. So whatever we do on the router, take note that you can also do it on the switch. That is the point I'm trying to make. So let's go and operate one of the routers. So this is the router that I want to operate. I just click on it. Let me enlarge this. Okay, this is the CLI. So you can power it on and off using this small button here. If I click this, it will turn to gray color. If I click it again, it will turn to green color. But by default, whenever you open a router, it will on automatically. Okay, it will turn itself on automatically. If I click a router like this, or if I just drag it out, if I click on it, it turns itself on automatically. Okay, but you can still off it. But we are not offing it. We are not putting it off. So let's go to the CLI. So this is the CLI. This is the CLI. This is the command line interface. Okay, so this is what you will see when you boot up your router, when you plug your router to the socket to power it up. Okay. I will also talk about how to access this CLI, how to plug your cable to the router to put it up. I will have another video on that. Okay. Okay, so don't bother yourself with all this information. Don't bother. They are just putting information and putting instruction. Don't bother yourself. So focus on the last statement here that says, continue with configuration dialog. Say no. Configuration dialog is where you do basic configuration for a router, and that is not what you want to do. Okay, so say no. Just type no, then press enter. Okay, press enter again. This place where we are right now, is what is called user exec mode, user execution mode. Here, you can only do little things on the router. You can't do much in this particular mode. Okay, in this particular mode, you can't do much. Okay, just see this place as when you enter an office and where you are confined to is just the receptionist area. Okay, you don't know what is inside the office, you don't know how many rooms, how many offices, how many staff, how many corners is in the office. So see this place as the receptionist office. Okay, you can do it here. So now to proceed to leave this particular stage, okay, if you want to see things that you can do here, just type question mark. These are the things that you can do. You can say show, can type show. These are the things you can do. You see show. This is the command. These are the available command. Whenever you don't know what command to type, just type question mark to show you available command that you can type. So let me type this command. This show. I can use a question mark again. Show fashion. So fashion. This is to show fashion of the iOS that is on this router. Okay. This is the fashion. So this is the model of the router. This is the series. Okay. This is the license. So you can only do basic stuff. So now, in order to leave this receptionist room, this user execution mode, the command that you will need to type is enable. Just type enable. Okay. Sorry. So type enable. I did a mistake in my spelling. That is why I had these errors. Okay, I didn't put A here. So let me type the correct spelling. And okay, type enable. So these are command. I'm entering command. I'm giving the router command what I want it to do for me. So enter. Okay, can you see this greater than sign has changed to hash? When you see this hash, it means you have left that user execution mode. You have left the receptionist room. Okay, they've now taken you to maybe the manager's office now. Okay, they are only increasing your privilege. Privilege means what you can do on the router. So this place where we are right now is called privilege execution mode, or just privilege mode. Sometimes we call it privilege mode. Here, what you can perform here are more than what you can perform at user execution mode. Here you can do basically things you can do here is also to check configuration on the switch. You can say show run configuration, show running config. Check running configuration. Okay. To repeat the command that you type last, just press your up arrow key as you bring it up. So things that you can do here are still limited. You can only show, check, okay, check interface configuration, check IP address configuration, and no, you can't make any changes. You can't make any changes. So now, to enter the mode where you can make changes to the router or to the switch, you will type a command called configure terminal. Configure terminal. So press enter. Okay, you are now in config mode. Okay, you are now in global configuration mode. So now this is where you can be making changes to your router. You can configure interface. You can change settings. You can configure your router. You can add IP address. You can do whatever you want. Okay, from here I can go to a particular interface on the router. Let's say interface. I can use my gigabit 0/0. Okay, I'm now under interface mode. So you can start making changes to the router. I can decide to put IP address. This command to put IP address. I can say 192.168.10.1. Can use to add to put the subnet mask. Don't worry if you are not getting it, but just note that this is the mode where you make changes. When you make changes to your router, this particular mode where you do your settings, your network settings and all of that. Okay, where you configure your network. Okay, so now I just configure IP address on this particular interface of the router. Okay, so I can shut down this interface. If I want to off that interface, that particular port on the router, I just put shut down. Shut down. Okay, I have shut down the interface. So let's go back to my. Okay, this is the router we are dealing with, right? This is the router we are dealing with. So let's say, okay, let me put this in. If you need a cable to connect these devices, just come here, click connection, pick a cable, click on the router you want to connect, click, drag, click again to connect. So now, this interface gig00 is what I'm configuring currently. Okay, is what I'm connected to. So can you see? I've already given it a IP address. This is the IP address that I gave it, if you remember. I gave you this IP address and I shut it down. Okay, so let me go and put on the interface by removing the shutdown command. So all what I will do is to type no shut down. Okay, when you are typing and you want the router to complete the command for you, so far you understand the command that you are typing, just click your tab key. I said click, press your tab key. So I say no, and I push short. I press my tab key, complete it for me. Okay, instead of me typing it complete. So I press enter. It said the interface will change state to up. That means the interface is up. The interface is up. The interface is up. Okay, the interface is up. So this is the this is how configuration of a router is being done. So if we are to leave this particular mode, if we are to go back, just type exit. Can you see? It's take me out of the interface configuration mode and put me in the configuration mode now. I'm in the configuration mode now. So if you want to still go back a bit again, go back to the next mode, type exit again. Can you see? It take me back to where we are coming from. We are in privilege mode now. We are in privilege mode now. If you want to go back where we are coming from, just type our configure terminal again. It just take me to the configuration mode again. If I want to go back to that interface, 0/0. Can you see? So that's how to configure your router. Okay, everything that I just did here is applicable to the switch too. All the same command, when you use it on the switch, it will work. They will work. So now let me quickly show you how to save your configuration, because if I just put off the router now, if I just close this my packet tracer right now, or if I just put off the router right now, everything that I've been configuring, all this interface, everything that I just did, all the things that I just did, it will disappear because I didn't save my configuration. Okay, I did not save my configuration. So if you are working on a router and you did not save, if NEPA take lights or there is power interruption, everything that you are doing will get erased if you did not save. So let me show you how to save. So now everything that we'll be doing is running on what we call running configuration. Okay, if I come here and say show running config, okay, running config, all these things are on my RAM, random access memory. If you know what random access memory is on a system, you understand what I'm saying. So that means it is erasable by power interruption, or if I shut down the router. So now, if I want to save it, all I will do is to type. Okay, so you type copy running config to startup config. Okay, and press enter. So destination file name will be startup config. Just press enter. Don't type yes. You see something building configuration. That means your configuration is saving, and you will see okay. That means you have successfully saved your configuration. Okay, meaning if you off this router and you put it on back, you will see all your configuration intact. Okay, so that is how to save your configuration on Cisco switches and Cisco router. So let's meet in the next class.